First car was a stick shift four-wheel drive Dodge Dakota. Um, Thing had tons of power, could go through anything. Had tons of great memories in that truck, fishing trips with friends, hunting trips, um, dates, of course. That truck got me through college. I took my wife on our first date in that truck. At the end of the date, I jumped a snowbank with it to impress her, and it never worked right ever again. And I just played dumb. And that was pretty much the end of that truck.
I think my dad had owned it, and it was just a very simplistic 1996 Dodge Ram 3500, regular cab, long box, diesel, and it was just one of them trucks that it wasn't the prettiest. It had its rust, had its everything, but it was a lot of sentimental value in it because I guess that was the truck that I remember in my young days. Him driving around, hunting, it was just a regular cab. There was only 3 seats in it. And I said, way before I had my license, that's the truck I want. I want that truck. And it gave me something, I guess, to look forward to working and cutting the grass and raking ditches and just something to strive towards. And eventually, he allowed me to get the vehicle. And man, I was like the happiest kid in the world. And most people or kids nowadays, you not that they get spoiled, but I was the happiest kid in the world with a regular cab, long box, 4x4 pickup truck that wasn't the fanciest, it had 300,000 miles on it. I mean, it's seen its better days, but to me that was everything, and that's the truck that I wanted, and I still I miss it to this day.
One of my first cars was what was it? Jeez, I gotta think about that. Man. Oh my goodness. It was a Chrysler Newport 4-door. Big boat. Had a 383 in it. And man, I tell you what, the car was all I could afford, but the engine was really fun.
Impress the girls with that, or was it? I remember those boats.
Yeah, it was a big 4-door. It had the rear wheel flares on it. They would come on and off. The 383 in it was a very powerful engine, and I remember getting on it one too many times where I actually broke an engine mount from the acceleration. So I'm like, what the heck is that noise? I better stop this.
Way back in the 70s, 1976, I needed a car. And this car was a real small car, and it was an economy car. Because back then we were suffering from high gas prices. The gas prices were real high for those times for what the dollar could buy. So I got a little economy car. It was so small that one time my friends picked it up and moved it. And they put it in a location that I couldn't get out. And laughed. I had never seen such a bunch of burly guys laugh so hard that I was stuck and I couldn't get my car out. Fantastic, right? Well, long story short, I was the first one to get that economy car because of the gas crisis. But some of my brothers, they had the hot cars. I remember my oldest brother, he comes into the driveway with a 1969 Mach 1. And I'll tell you, it was red with black scoops. I fell in love with that car. Well, ironically, he had it. Mark, his name is Mark. He went to the Air Force. Then the next brother got it, and that was Paul, and he drove it for a couple years. And then the next brother got it, Luke, and he drove it for a couple years. And then the next brother, he drove it, but it would drive no more. So that's the story about my first car. I was in line for that Mach 1, but I never got it, and maybe it was a blessing, because I liked to put the hammer down when I drove back then. And that's just the way it was. Even an economy car, I pushed it sometimes as fast as it could go.